So much is made of the many incredible achievements the Geometry Dash community has achieved that we often forget just how much of themselves players pour into the game to try and push their own limits. At its core, GD is a mental game, and to rise to the top you often have to fight a hellacious uphill battle that's seemingly never ending. And that's with levels that are known to be possible. What about a level that was until recently assumed to be unable to ever legitimately be beaten? A level that has some of the worst choke points that have ever been conceived. Today we're going to be looking at how Glow managed to verify the original unnerfed Sary Never Clear after 11 years of it looming over the community as an infamously impossible level. This is Glow. They're a core member of the impossible level community and have verified a fair few of them over the years. From Salen's very first impossible level in Deadly Clubstep V2 to Dreamopolis, which is a Necropolis-inspired impossible level that's currently considered to be around Tartarus difficulty, his portfolio of achievements in the space are numerous. But this journey to verify Sary Never Clear was going to completely dwarf all of that. All of those individual stories and struggles couldn't even hold a candle to this level of difficulty, and there's a very good reason why. You've probably heard of the rated version of Sary Never Clear. It's a popular choice for its difficulty range and ranks as one of the top 150 hardest levels in the game. It's in the upper echelon of difficulty, and yet it's a cakewalk compared to the original framework it was based on. The original version of the level by Optic Sunflow has some of the most evil gameplay that has ever been constructed. Let me walk you through it. In the first quarter of the level, you're already confronted by 10 CPS spam, mirror portals everywhere, and a triple click with a 144 FPS frame perfect. But it only gets worse from here. The UFO immediately after is loaded with frame perfects, and then there's a memory part before you're thrown into the diagonal straight fly that feels endless when you play it. At 80, you finally reach the hardest part of the level with these cube timings, 7 144 FPS frame perfects in a row. According to Glow, this part blows the unnerfed 8 jumps of hell out of the water and was so hard you can't even fully describe it to me. Following on from that, the 84 ball timings are a definite choke point, and lastly there's the 90 cube that was thought to be physically impossible. The part was so infamous that Jacob220 literally nerfed it in their showcase of the level because it was assumed to be impossible even with cheats. It took many hours of manual FPS testing from Glow before he finally landed on it being a 301 FPS frame perfect. Not physically impossible anymore, but still absolutely evil to have to hit at 90 in a level that would place in the top 5 according to good players who've tried it. At best, Glow's consistency with that cube is a 1 in 5 pass rate. It was going to take both skill and luck if this level is ever going to be verified. The first reported progress from Glow was a run of 30 to 100, an optimistic start no doubt, but only the beginning of this journey. Passing the ending was a big deal, but it was going to be much harder with the nerves and the hand pains from the spam in the beginning. From there, he would do consistency runs from 10%, and when he finally went from 0, it would result in 79%. On a normal level, that would be close to finishing things off, but this is not a normal level. It's the start of the most brutal cube gameplay in any level that's ever been verified. He made it past the spam, the frame perfect littered UFO, the memory, and the diagonal straight fly, and yet those were just the prelude to the cube. It merely was the beginning of where things get real on this level. It took 61,000 attempts to get to this point, and yet it would take nearly 4 times more attempts for this to draw to a close. But I'm getting ahead of myself there. As hard as this level is on its own, Glow had several disadvantages going into it that made going for it even harder. Remember how the beginning has 10 CPS spam? Well, he has bone problems that made it much harder to consistently hit it, and when combined with tachycardia that made his heart rate skyrocket every time to the memory part, it was both a mental and physical battle every single attempt on the level. He was pouring in 12 hours a day of straight grinding as it was his ultimate goal to be the one to verify it. The mental torment this level put him through cannot be overstated. Day in, day out, it was futile attempt after futile attempt hoping for something to click. But he never gave up no matter what problems came up or how many people around him claimed the level could never ever be beaten. Following on from the 79 attempts, he would make the incredible run of 10 to 100. That's almost the entire level done. It had been 119,000 attempts and things were starting to move along. Another month would pass and he'd end up making it back to the cube from 0. Let's see if he could do it.
be able to.
91. I got 91.
No. Dang it.
It's a 300 FPS.
The final cube jump. Surely, if he could pass that, it'd be over. It was a devastating fail, but he persisted undeterred, continuing to grind like nothing had happened. But things would soon change in an unexpected way. He was set to have to go on vacation to Pakistan in a few weeks' time and had very little time to try to wrap the level up. There was increasing worries in his mind about a better player sniping the verification, and being away for 2 months, unable to play it, was not going to help matters. So he gave it his all and on July 4th made it back to the cube. It was now or never. Could he pull it out, or was the level going to torment him over those 2 months? In that moment, it could only be one or the other.
No! Fucking no! No! That's the worst fail in GD history!
92%. The final cube that was at one point deemed physically impossible was passed, but it was all for naught. One of the worst fails in the history of Geometry Dash. This was an entirely avoidable mistake too. You don't even have to take that straight fly to make it to the end of the level. If he would have just dropped down at the ending, it would have been the end right there. A mistake he was never going to make again. In the remaining days before having to leave to Pakistan, he'd made it to the cube again and again, and had been turned back every single time until it was too late. The entire trip, the level loomed over him as this wall he just simply couldn't seem to break through, despite being so close. But there were people around him that encouraged him to keep going despite everything that had gone wrong up to this point. In specific, he names Odie the Great and Mewtwo557 as the close friends that helped him take on this burden with him and pushed him to the finish line. Without them, he'd probably have given up long ago. They were the ones that, in his words, taught him everything in terms of advancing in the community and becoming a good player. Sometimes all you need to achieve greatness is belief that you can from those that matter to you. Upon returning home, the only thought in Glow's mind was finally putting Sary Never Clear to rest. 2 months may have felt like an eternity, but it came and went without any top player swooping in to snipe the verification. It was just Glow versus himself. One final push to make his dream come true. On October 8th of 2025, he had made it far once again, but something was different this time. Would the impossible finally become possible? After 11 years of infamy, 218,000 attempts, many mental struggles, physical ailments, and many hours of grinding, the dream of verifying Sary Never Clear finally came true. It's a groundbreaking moment for the impossible level community, being the hardest one that's ever been verified. What started as a shot in the dark with a physically impossible behemoth had finally come to a close. As things stand, Sary Never Clear is estimated to be top 5 in difficulty on the list, which makes it all the more insane to pour that much time and effort into something that in all likelihood will never land on the demon list in any capacity due to decoration standards. As for Glow's future, he intends to keep on going with impossible levels, just probably not anything near this level of difficulty for a long while, but no matter where things go from here, he can know he overcame the odds and did the impossible.